Hello guys. So in the previous video we discussed that the output of this program always printed the most recent value of t. We ran it and here's a sample output. So for example here the last thread that was created was 1. So whenever any of the threads was printing, it was taking the index from t, and t has already been updated, so it's going to print the most recent value, which is 1. And this created a problem because I don't know which thread is being is actually printing this line, and the intention of this line is to actually know which thread is printing this line. So how can I go about this issue? There's a way, actually. If I could store the thread IDs in an array. So here I'll have an array called IDs, which will actually have 5 threads. And this is stored on the stack, obviously, because it's local to the main thread. So it's gonna be an array that's stored on the stack. And then every iteration I'm going to put the value. So IDs at t is going to be equal to t. And here, instead of passing the subroutine the value t, which I can't guarantee to be the value of the thread that's executing right now, I'm going to pass instead, because by the time it starts executing, maybe another thread has been created or something. So I'm going to pass the index, which will be stored at the index t. So I'm going to store the thread ID at the index t. And therefore I'm going to pass the old value of t, if you want, the unchanged value. When I put the values of t in an array and I'm accessing the right one at the time I want, I wouldn't run the risk of having the value of t updated, because I'm always getting the index that I actually want. Now let me run this program. And now if you notice, after I've done this update, I'm no longer printing only the most recent value of t, because I'm not actually printing t, I'm printing the value of the index, which is equal to the ID of the thread. So this is the first output and this is the second output. Notice here the first 2 threads were created, then the first thread was allowed to print, and then the third thread was created, then the second thread was allowed to print, and the fourth was created, the third was printing, and here I'm creating the last thread, but I didn't allow thread 4 to print 4, right? Look here. It didn't get the chance to print. And why? Because the array is stored on the stack of the main thread. And when the main thread was waiting, okay, here the main thread finished executing, and it's just waiting for all the other processes. So the reason that thread 4 is not printing is because the main will abolish its stack while it's waiting for the other processes, and when it does that, the thread can no longer access this array, so it can't get its ID, and therefore nothing would be printed here. So this is it for this video. I'll see you in the next one.